G'day and welcome to Truck That for April 2018. We want to get involvement from you people out on the road. We've been doing this now for a number of months. We've done it with the best of good intent, and of course with what's happened recently, so much going on, we're looking to find the next step, and we believe that to be the Truck That Australia Drivers Club. Now, there are a lot of people out there very frustrated with the way that we are perceived and portrayed in the media. There are issues with how these blitzers go out, and they actually, from my point of view, make us look even worse. They show that we must be bad people, so they've got to get out and blitz us. They then put up all these defects that they find, and yet they won't give us the details of what they are. Now, I'm sure you'd agree, we don't want dangerous trucks on the road. We don't want tired drivers on the road, whether they're in a truck or a car or a caravan, it's indifferent. But how are we going to get fair representation for our industry? How are we going to get our views heard to those people that make those decisions? Now, you can sit in a truck stop and you can talk all day to your mates. Is it going to change anything? No. The associations, we believe you should join an association or a union or a group if you fully believe in what they do. But if you don't agree with that, if you think they miss something, if you don't think they have enough on-road input, then what's your alternative? Where are you going to go to have a say? So we're offering the idea of the Truck That Australia Drivers Club. We're going to ask you for $50 a year, $1 a week. For that, we're going to come up with a logo. We're probably going to give you something so it looks nice to put in the windscreen and blokes can see that you're involved. And we're going to ask you to do 4 things. We're going to ask you when there's a call for submissions, as there is at the moment, or just recently for the New South Wales Stay Safe Committee. Look, the other day, there are only 7 submissions. Nat Road is the only industry body that's put one in. I plan to do one tonight, and that closes in a couple of days. If we don't get a say into those things, how are those people going to, one, look at it? They're going to say, well, no truck driver wrote anything, therefore they're happy with what we're going to slam them with, and we're going to be stuck with it. And 2, if we don't give our views, how the hell are they going to understand what they are? So that's number 1. You've got to help us with submissions. We'll give you a template, we'll give you a number of issues, we'll ask you to write a thing, you might pick on one thing and you'll put that in. We will at least get more people involved. We're going to ask you to report bad road conditions, because if we don't report them, New South Wales is a big state, Queensland's even bigger. If you don't report conditions, how is some bloke sitting in Brisbane going to know about a pothole the other side in Innisfail? So you've got to report it. We then hope we'll get it fixed. We're going to ask you for recognition of what we do. We're going to ask you to comply with the Truckies on-road code. We want you to put up a professional image on the road. Now, most of you do that anyway, so you're not going to be doing anything hard. You're not going to get a sweat up at all. And lastly, we're going to ask you to report if there's a story against us in your local press or the paper or the radio, because when they throw mud at us, that mud sticks. If we don't respond to it, at least in fair and reasonable terms, then we're not getting heard, and that will continue to go out there and make us all look bad. Is that what you want? Hope not. Think about the club. Go to www.truckingnation.com.au, have a look at what's there, join up and help us make a difference. Back soon. G'day, I'm Rod Hannafy, and I'd like to invite you to join the Truck That Australia Drivers Club. We know there's a hell of a lot of frustration out there amongst drivers. We have a tenet to sit behind it of safe home, safe on the road and mateship. And we want you to join and participate and help us make a difference. Go to www.truckingnation.com.au and follow the links. Come and join us and help.
I've driven this truck all over this land. I've seen valley dust and ocean sand. Spent my life on the road, behind the wheel, with a heavy load. It's a lonely job, driving a truck. I'll be back home soon with a bit of luck. There's many miles still to go. It seems I'm always on the road. It's always on the road. It's the way my life is meant to be. Always on the road.
Welcome to our Truck That special edition at the Stone to Crows Festival in Wagga Wagga. We're here with Grant Lewis and John Smith, and Grant wrote the song, John sang it at the entertainment last night, and we want to know the inspiration behind it, gentlemen.
Well, actually, John was the inspiration for the song because he was in a unique position in that he was a truck driver, a professional truck driver, and also a musician. And he's done 5 albums now, and he is in that situation now where he still needs to be a truck driver, don't you?
I still need to go to work, yeah.
You still need to go to work. You need a real job.
I need to supplement my music.
That's right. And then at the weekends, he's a weekend warrior, what we call a weekend warrior in the music industry, in that he gets out there and still on the road and doing the miles and being very successful after 5 albums and in demand for festivals around Australia. He's still doing the miles, but there was a contrast between, I thought, between him doing the miles as a truck driver and doing the miles as a musician.
Yeah.
A lot of similarities. You know, he's still, as you know, it's not all beer and Skittles on the road.
No.
Whatever you're doing, you know, if you're going out there and doing a lot of miles, then you've got to be dedicated, you've got to be careful, and you've got to do them.
So obviously you collaborated, or you had a bit of an input, or how did it work when he came along with the idea?
Grant came up with the idea, and I thought this is going to be a pretty boring song about me.
About you.
About me. No, but he did a good job with it, yeah. And it is true what he said about you got to do the miles at work and the miles for your pleasure as well. I'm always on the road. It's the way my life is meant to be.
So, with the Stone to Crows Festival, you might put out an album. Everyone's got a copy that's attended, but it's not available for sale. You've asked all the artists who have contributed over the years to Stone to Crows, and it is a very music and entertainment-based event. And how are you finding it? You get much input from the truck industry? Have you sort of targeted us, or are you looking for support from truck drivers?
I always take support from anybody, yeah. We mainly sell at festivals, at the country music festivals where we attend.
Yes. But if a truckie loves it and he wants to get hold of one, where's he going to get a copy?
Get on to John and Christine Smith on Facebook. It's probably the best way, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
And obviously with Stone to Crows, it is one of the only events where both the caravan fraternity and the motorhome fraternity come together. This is now your 6th year. Yeah,
6th year, and we were rather stunned about that, Rod. We found that motorhome has had a separate rally organisation, and the caravanners had a separate one, and never the twain should meet. And we suggested, ran this idea past a whole lot of caravanners and motorhomers, let's combine them. And they said, oh, that's great. I've got a motorhome, but I've got a lot of friends who've got caravans. They can come too.
Yes.
So, yes, it's been a unique thing. And the other point of difference is that we are in the same place every year in Wagga Wagga, and at the same time every year, Easter every year.
I've done a presentation yesterday, one today, and it was through our association previously with Rig Radio that Grant invited me along, and we've got really good reception here from people to give us the chance to talk to them, to offer a truckie's point of view, and I'd certainly like your view on how you've seen it from outside, how that's worked.
Well, when we did it last year for the first time, I was just stunned that it was non-hostile. I was expecting maybe a bit of friction, the caravanners not really, truckies are not
really friends on the road.
Really on the road, and they have issues, shall we say. But there was a real, your mantra is sharing the road, and there was that attitude from them too. And that continued this year. And again, more questions. And the thing that I liked what you're doing with that is you're encouraging people to make suggestions about how can we make this a whole lot safer for everyone.
So, going well all round. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you for the song. I hope it goes really well. All the best of success with it. And thank you very much, Grant, for writing it in, and thank you for the invite. And let's work on making the road safer for everybody in the future.
Onwards and upwards, and Rod, safe travelling.
Thank you, mate.
Always on the road. It's the closest thing I know to being free. I'm always on the road. It's the way my life is meant to be. I'm always on the road. It's the closest thing I know to being free. Being free. Thank you very much.
Welcome back to Truck That at the Stone to Crows Festival. We've been invited to do seminars. This is my third year attending, so the seminars run for about an hour and a half. We had a really good crowd yesterday, 200 to 300 people, a couple of hundred again this morning. We've gone through a whole heap of things. We've launched Truck That RV to the RV community. In the meeting with the clubs I had this morning, they've agreed to disseminate that to their members. Some of them have got 30 and 40,000 members, so we will get to a lot more RVers that way. And we've got some of the seminar footage here, so check it out. And what that does is convert it from a semi into a bigger combination. So that's an A coupling. A B coupling, if you look at my two trailers, you'll see the second trailer virtually sits on the back of the first. That's called a B coupling, so that's why it's called a B double. You will see some combinations now calling a B triple. They have two of the smaller A trailers and they tag onto one another. And many of you that go into Brisbane or Melbourne may well have seen now what you think to be a road train. But on the signs on the front and rear, it'll have long vehicle. Now that started in Brisbane because they could only carry legally one 40-foot container. You couldn't put another 40 on a B double, it's not long enough obviously. And they have a thing called PBS, performance-based standards. And you can apply with a specific truck combination to do a specific job. You have to meet a whole heap of criteria to do it. And what they are calling that is an A double. So yes, to you it looks like a road train, and technically it is, but it's running at 30 metres instead of 36 and a half, and they can legally carry two 40-foot containers on that. So they have doubled their productivity by having one truck towing two trailers with the two 40-foot containers on. Any of you know the rest area at Yelgan on the Pacific Highway? I know it's in a number of caravan sites, and a truck driver pulled in there one night at 1:30 in the morning, and I'm sure if any of you have been there, you've seen the signs that say trucks only in the back section. Now he pulled in there to go to bed, it was full of caravans. He rang the police. The police came out at 1:30 in the morning and woke every single caravaner up in the truck bay and made them move on. Now, do you think there were some happy caravanners there? Probably not. But it was clearly signed. Now, the trouble is, I think there's 8 caravan bays out the front. I can't honestly remember now. I have been there and had a look, and I've taken some photos myself. And I was there one day, and there's this bloke in his little camper van, and he's set up with his camper van taking up a B double space. And I walked over and said, "Mate, how you going?" "Yeah, good." I said, "You're in the truck section." "Oh, yeah, but there's nobody here," virtually as that said. And I said, "Yeah, well, that's right." But I said, "They're all going to come in later on." And I said, "Where you are, we're not going to get another truck in here now." I said, "There's all that room out the front." "Oh, but," he said, "I'm all set up now." And like, I've got no authority to tell the bloke to buzz off. And I said, "Well, you really need to consider it. And if they all come in and wake you up in the middle of the night, don't come whinging to us." At the Stone to Crows Festival in Wagga Wagga, and we're talking to Alan Kruger, who is a motorhomer and an ex-truck driver, so we won't hold that against him, but he's just attended the seminar on sharing the road with trucks, and we want to get a couple of views from him. G'day Alan, how are you going?
Good, Rod, good.
Mate, you've been involved in the RV community for some time now?
I have. I had 25 years with my caravan, and I've now bought a motorhome, and continuing on the same journey, and second year for Stone to Crows, which decided to be a volunteer this year and give them a hand. So you
had trucks before? You were involved with car carrying for many years?
I had trucks for 40 years, my own various trucks.
So what first brought you to the Stone to Crows? What got you to come here?
Oh, look, we had friends in the RV industry back in the Sydney City Slickers.
Oh, right.
Of the ACC. And they were coming down here every year, so we decided to come down. It was John Porter, actually, the guy who does a lot of the work in here.
Oh, right, yep. So it's meant to be a place where the caravanners and the motorhomers come together. It's unique in that regard?
Oh, yes. Look, there's many been coming since they started, and they're still coming back and they're still volunteering.
And the entertainment is excellent. We had a concert on last night. They've got Daddy Daycare. They've got a whole range of things on. Make your own ukulele. They've got tours. So there's something for everybody here.
It is, definitely. And you couldn't get the entertainment, this much entertainment over the whole week, you know, at this sort of money anywhere.
Yeah.
You know. And then if you don't want that sort of entertainment, you've got all the games, you've got the national championships of disc bowls,
Yes.
and ladder golf and a few other little games like that. So it's all out there for whatever you want to do.
Yep, and they've got some good tucker on site. And
Beautiful, yeah. Lions Club are doing their greatest to look after us, and they're doing a great job. And you've got Ed's Van and quite a few of the other little coffee people there as well. So
right, so you've just come along to my seminar on sharing the road. I did one yesterday, one today. We had a pretty good roll up there today. What are your comments? Is there anything, can you see the value in coming to these events for someone like me to put that view out, and what can we do better?
Look, I think you're doing it very well. I couldn't think of any better way to do it. The only thing is getting out, as you say, getting out to the various groups. Now, I've got people in the RV industry I'd like to get to. You've got others in the trucking industry you'd like to get to, and we've both seen that from time to time. But I think it's a matter of sharing with as many people as we can, and trying to get that word out to the ones that aren't involved with any of these groups.
Yes,
they're
the hard ones to get to. That's right, yeah. So comments on the presentation, good, long enough, too short? Did I miss anything? Having a truck here, is that a value as well?
Oh, I think it is. I think, look, obviously I've seen trucks for years, but there's many people haven't and wouldn't have any idea how big it is until they get up close and have a good look. So.
And we've just had a couple of people queue up wanting to have a look inside and see it from our point of view, so that's good.
And they wouldn't even know what's in it when you go past, you know.
Yeah.
So definite advantage. No, I think it's been done really well, mate. No,
thank you very much. So to tidy up this edition of Truck That, we're going to actually do a video from in the cab for our Truck That RVers. Our sharing rest areas video went really well, still getting out there to people, still getting on comment on it, so that's good. Obviously, at one stage, we might even have to talk about truck stop etiquette and rest area etiquette for you blokes, because we know we're not all perfect. And some bloke who goes and pulls up in the Bowser and leaves his truck there for half an hour while he goes and has a leak and buys a pie while 17 trucks are waiting outside doesn't really make us look good, and probably doesn't help other blokes. So if you do that, give it some thought, do the right thing. But as I say, we're going to try and show the RVers our side of things. We want to get them involved. At this stage, I'll be on Discover Down Under on TV. They came and filmed at the Retreat Caravan Rally that I went to in Mudgee, and we actually launched that video there. They were the first people to see it, got a bit of feedback. They all said, yeah, it's good. So it was filmed there. Green reflectors are still rolling along. The Newell's completed. I'm starting to work on the poster. We hope to have a poster up and down the highway very soon. And the green reflector marking of informal truck bays is a finalist in the Caltex Australian Road Safety Awards to be held in Melbourne in March. So hopefully by the time we see you again, we'll have an answer to whether that was successful. So look, there's a whole range of activities that we're involved in. We understand that you may not have the time or the capacity to do all of that, and we recognise that. We're not asking you for even an hour a week. We're asking you perhaps for a couple of minutes for a phone call for a bad bit of road. Yes, we might ask you for 10 minutes once a month when submissions are due. We are asking you to let us know by phone call, by email, Rod, there's a story in the Moree paper or the bloody Brisbane paper that's bad and didn't really like it. We can chase it up, we can find it, we can put in a response. One thing that we should say, I suppose, is that that's what the associations should be doing more of, and we'll call on them to do that. We are hoping to have Ben Maguire from the ATA do a trip in the truck in May if this all goes to plan. So again, we will work with those associations. We want them to get out there and do their job, but if they're not on the road, if they don't live on the road, do they do the right thing? Do they understand our issues? We don't believe so. So that's what the club is going to be for. So we want your support with that. We want you to promote Truck That, the videos. We want your input. And of course, we want you to do the right thing on the road. Some of you may have seen there was a bit put up on Facebook where the bloke's wheeling his trolley around a shopping market. And he's just like, some of us probably are in trucks. Now, it's one thing to sit in here with the windows up and say to yourself, that bloke's a goose, etc., with a little bit more flavour, perhaps you'd say. But it's another thing to abuse people. Even caravanners, like at one stage I was going to Gundawindi and this lady, I caught up to her, I give her a flash as I pulled out, got halfway up beside her, she sped up, did it to me twice, and I walked into the servo, they pulled up to get fuel, and I walked out and I said, oh, excuse me, I said, I'm the truck driver you were just playing with. Now the lady said to me, oh, truck, I didn't see the truck at all. And I said, oh, didn't see it. Oh, righto. I said, well, I flashed you when I saw it once. And the husband stood about 5 metres away and never said boo. So, of course, I said to her, look, you know, I'm concerned about how you're behaving on the road. And she said, we've been run off the road by a truck. I said, geez, I don't know why that would have been if that's how you drive. And it's simply education. It is trying to make them understand our side of things. So we're involved with that. We're trying to get that up as well. We're going to give them a bit of education. And of course, you know, I walked back over to the console after that confrontation, or I don't think it was even that bad, it was a discussion, and Judy at the counter said, you picking on my caravan customers again? I said, no, did you see me waving my hands or getting excited? I said, I spoke to her, I believe I was fair, and look, I went to the loo, come back out, and the husband was standing at the counter and never said anything. I just gave him my card. And I said, mate, on my website there's a thing called the Caravan Survey, and I really think for your own safety you should have a look at it. Now, who do you think drove the car out of the survey? The husband did. Now, let's hope they went home. They might have had a very serious discussion, but they might have looked at that survey and they might do one thing different on the road that prevents an accident with them and another truck. And really, that's all we want. We want to stop that going on. But we want your help. So until next time, safe travelling.